They got stuff that'll whack your brain permanently.
I'm white, and I've got everything I need. No one clutches their purses when they're in a room alone with me. And I can drive for any neighborhood I please at any hour, and the police don't do a thing. So if I see a penny on the ground, I leave it alone and fucking flip it. I'm a straight white male in America. I got everything I need. I'm a guy getting paid more than a girl with a degree. And I can walk down the streets after dark, no one wants to rape me. And I can get a girl pregnant and just as easily flee. Just like my straight white male dad did to me. So if I see a penny on the ground, I leave it alone and fucking flip it. I'm a straight white male in America. I've got all the luck I need. I've got a pile of broken mirrors and I'm walking under ladders and I'm spilling tons of salt, but to me that doesn't matter, cause my skin and my gender and my orientation are the best things to have if you live in this nation. I recommend it highly. I see a penny on the ground, I leave it alone and fucking flip it. I'm a straight white male in America. I've got all the luck I need. Shit's gonna work out for me, cause I'm a straight white male in America. I've got all the luck I need.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Intellectual Dollar Tree. We do the show live on Twitch every fucking Wednesday. Almost forgot what day it is. At 7 p.m. Pacific till, I don't know, fucking 8:30 or whatever. And we go into the post game, and sometimes we go really late. I'm producer Dave. I'll be joined by HK Perrin shortly. We seem to have lost our remote connection here. You can support this project at patreon.com/Echoplex. You can always follow our Twitch channel. You can follow us on Odyssey. Just go look for Echoplex Media. I don't know, follow us on Rumble, BitChute. Follow me on Twitter. You can just go to echoplexmedia.com/contact. Find ways to follow all of us on Twitter. You can also just give us money directly, echoplexmedia.com/support or echoplexmedia.com/swag, where you can find shirts and mugs and fucking other stuff, pint glasses, all kinds of great stuff. So, trying to figure out what happened to my co-host here. He was just here in the group call, and then boom, gone. Haven't heard anything from him. If y'all can bother him in the chat, I would like my co-host to be here with me. Although if there's some supreme technical difficulty going on the other end, I actually don't want to deal with it. Let's see the other shows. Check out Thursday night we do Cults in the Satanic Panic. That'll be tomorrow night. I'll be here with the Media Wench. Friday we do Conspiracy Bingo. This Saturday we're going to actually be doing the Sunday show, the Plex. We usually do Catterday on Saturday, but I have a thing Sunday evening, so Matt and I will be here for the Plex. That'll be 7 p.m. Saturday this week. And then Sunday, I'll probably come up late, like 9 or 9:30 or whatever. We'll do some night Twitch. Monday is always Meltdown Monday with the Media Wench. And Tuesday is Local Tuesday. That's Down Ballot and Local Love. So this week, we're going to get into a little something here. The Atheist Sex Pest to Reactionary Pipeline was let's say pioneered by Michael Shermer of Skeptic Magazine, and then David Silverman of American Atheists followed up shortly. But David Silverman of American Atheists never went on Infowars. Or no, Michael Shermer never went on Infowars. David Silverman of American Atheists sure did. And that's what we're going to be doing this fine evening. I do believe I have my co-host here. What's up, HK?
Hey, sorry about that. My computer funked out. Anyway, my name is HK Perrin. You can find me on Twitter at HK Perrin and in the chat as Sylphweed.
Fuck yeah, coming in like you weren't even gone. So, yeah, you know what the content is today. Today we have David Silverman of American Atheists joining Infowars to talk to one of their fucking cools. And we're just going to let it ride. The title of this is Jesus Freak Christie versus Atheist Activist Dave. I already hate it.
Yeah, there could not be a less appealing title. Also, they capitalized verses.
Not both letters.
Dave Silverman of Atheists for Liberty. He is a 25-year atheist activist, TV, radio personality, victim of cancel culture, former woke leftist, he says, and now a libertarian. I'm so excited to have you on. I didn't get the chance to talk to you at CPAC, so I called you up, and you were all too willing to come on and have this conversation.
Oh, no.
I called myself the Jesus Freak of Infowars, and you're like, hey, that's fine. I'll talk to you.
I've heard of jumping the shark, but he jumped every shark. He
was he ever a woke leftist?
I don't know. He claims he was. That's like one of the things you have to claim though in this space, right? It's like that why I left the left shit on PragerU.
Yeah, I don't remember him being particularly leftist. I mean, he agrees with a lot of the political points of the left, but I wouldn't like the only thing he was really outspoken about was atheism.
Right, and like I've been saying on Twitter a lot lately, the only reason I think a lot of these people were really into gay rights is because it fucking pissed off the religious people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to paint with a wide brush. I mean, both of us are atheists, and both of us were kind of new atheists too. And a lot of the people that I'm in like pretty cool conversations with on Twitter, and eventually going to have on the guests for the show are former new atheists. But it just occurs to me that when like all the chips come down and you have to like take a stand, a lot of these people, well, all the dudes anyway, except for PZ Myers, basically, we're like, oh, we're going to take a big old step right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I feel like that's where a lot of the money draw went. Like they saw the grift kind of a whole lot more lucrative over on the right. So I could be wrong, but I think they were chasing money.
It's possible, but some of them didn't need money. You know what I'm saying? Do you think Richard Dawkins needed money?
I think this guy moved right because he was discovered to be, a sex pest.
Allegedly. So anyway, let's let this ride. We're not going to get through much of this at all. But like the thing is, like he didn't just jump the shark, man. He took all of the sharks in the ocean, lined them up, and did an Evel Knievel all of them by showing up on Infowars.
Very cool on that. We're just talking about unity. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, Christy, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. I'm really happy to be here to talk to you, even though you're a Christian, and to talk to all of your Christian friends and supporters, because the world has changed.
What a weird thing to say.
Fellows are brand new.
Right. Like I don't even know what percentage of our audience is Christian, but like our number one fan of this show is like a church lady. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Like who cares if someone's Christian or atheist or whatever? Like, as long as they're not hurting anyone, they're fine with me. Right.
Like I don't think I ever like hated Christians. I probably dunked on them a little too much during the new atheist thing, but we all get older, we all learn.
I'm a 25-year civil rights activist. I was the president of an organization called American Atheists for a while. I was the big bad atheist guy. I was the general in the war on Christmas. Do you remember when we used to fight about Merry Christmas versus Happy Holidays?
Do you remember like just fucking 3 months ago, 3.5 months ago we did that?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
And he's lying. Sam Cedar was the head person in the war on Christmas. He tortured an elf, for fuck's sake.
This is another thing. Like, I don't care what someone says to me. I will feel more included if someone says Happy Holidays rather than Merry Christmas. Even though I celebrate Christmas, I just feel like that's a more inclusive thing to say. But like, if I were running a business, how do these people see that it makes a whole lot more sense as a business owner to say Happy Holidays to your customers, unless you want to exclude all non-Christian customers?
But a lot of, like you said, a lot of non-Christians celebrate Christmas because it's mostly a capitalist holiday. So you're You're really just excluding the communists when you say Merry Christmas. But like my birthday being so close to Christmas, I would like very much if people would say Happy Holidays, because I feel like the window is such that you're including my birthday, and I feel like that's very nice.
I like that. I'm including your birthday when I say Happy Holidays.
That was my battle, and I wish we could fight about that still, but we can't. I wish that was.
Ninetales celebrates eggnog.
Too many people were saying Merry Christmas and
I agree.
Happy Holidays. I wish that were
Eggnog's
the big
dirty.
thing that was getting me angry these days, but it's not. What happened is,
God damn it! I had a sneeze and I lost it.
the left went pretty crazy.
Did you say eggnog's
they went
dirty?
pretty racist. And so I left, and I can't be a part of that.
I disagree.
To be fair, they threw me out, but I also left.
But they didn't throw you out for your political views, and it wasn't the left that threw you out. It was American Atheists that threw you out, and it was because of your behavior at a conference sponsored by American Atheists.
He doesn't want to go into that.
Right.
He would rather their viewers believe he was thrown out for a very different reason.
Right. Cult of Dusty has
I don't know.
really,
It probably doesn't matter to their viewers.
yeah, Cult of Dusty has like a really good couple videos on this. They're all pretty long because they're like his whole show, but Cult of Dusty did a really good job going over this. He was at the convention and kind of knows a couple of the people involved because it was back in the day when he was a little bit bigger creator. You can look up David Silverman on Cult of Dusty's channel. He did a pretty good job talking about it.
I thought that these were the kind and tolerant people.
That was the plan. That was the plan, Christy. They were supposed to be
I'm a
the
Christian. I'm not supposed to be willing to talk to you, a horrible, evil atheist.
You're supposed to be screaming at me that
Actually, it says in the Bible that you have to be able to defend your views. So she's wrong. As a Christian, she's wrong about Christianity.
But I think that, like literally when we talk about Christianity in this country, we're talking about a very politicized movement.
Yeah, it doesn't really have anything to do with the Bible anymore.
Right. It's more about nationalism in a lot of ways. America is a Christian nation and all that shit. Well, no, America is an inclusive nation where the largest group is people like me and HK.
Yeah. It's good that we don't follow a lot of the things that are in the Bible, but it's also bad in some ways that we don't follow. Like if you look at the teachings of Jesus, like the Republican Party is about as far from the teachings of Jesus as you could get. And yet most Republicans are Christians.
They're like the fire and
but
brimstone.
We also don't stone people to death for disobeying their parents. So that's good.
Yeah, they like the fire and brimstone part better, but here, let's try to focus a little more on the content here.
and I should change my ways and blah blah blah. Look, this world has gone crazy, and I hope someday that you and I can sit down and have a good old fashioned debate over whether God exists or whether we should say Merry Christmas or.
But instead, we're going to glad hand about the wokes and vaccines here. That's just my guess.
Yeah, it sounds like rather than have any sort of debate, they're just going to bag on imaginary slights from the left.
Happy holidays. In the meantime, we have to fight for actual liberty from people who are actually trying to take actual liberty away. And that means freedom of speech. That means freedom of the press. That means freedom of expression. That means freedom to have a peaceful trucker convoy without being demonized. That means...
No, you can do your thing, and then people can demonize you, and it's all in the game, baby. Like, if you're going to go out there and have your fucking say, then other people are going to have their fucking say, and it's all in the game.
Yeah, you can't say, I demand freedom of speech, but only for me. I mean, you can say it. It just makes you an asshole.
Right, and then people are going to make fun of you. And then if you say that them making fun of you is infringing on your speech, well, they're going to make fun of you some more. I think, like, a lot of these people just want like freedom of speech all the way up until they get mocked or harshly criticized. And they want that to be like the line. They want like civility. They want like people to be civil to them, even if what they're saying is uncivil to someone else.
Yeah. But they also want they don't want any sort of repercussions for what they say.
And in this case,
or in his case, what they do.
Well, in his case, the repercussion was he just was no longer the head of American Atheists. Like, had someone pursued that in a different manner, his repercussions might be such that he would be only able to appear on Infowars from a prison phone.
Yeah.
So, this shit, like, what do you mean they can have their peaceful, they can have their convoy, but like demonization is just more speech.
Well, they can have their convoy to a certain extent. I don't know exactly how Canadian law works, but
he's probably talking about the American one now because it was just a couple days ago.
Oh, well, no one has a problem with the American one. That's like 2 trucks.
That's absolutely not true.
The one in DC?
There's hundreds of trucks and thousands of people in Hagerstown, Maryland right now.
Oh, in Maryland. Okay.
Yeah, they're right. The
one in DC was tiny.
Right next to DC, dude. It's the same one. I'm telling you, we've been following this. Your perception of this is incorrect.
Didn't they have like a speech in front of a crowd of like 4 people?
Yeah, I don't want to get bogged down in this, but the way that you if you like, our coverage of this has been pretty clear. They didn't get there the day of the State of the Union. They were late. I don't know, because they didn't plan. They thought that they would just kind of drive uninterrupted and not stop everywhere for photo ops. And since half the people were there for the gram, they didn't make it there on time. But yeah, there's hundreds of trucks and thousands of people in Hagerstown, Maryland, but they're not going into DC proper because the good people of Washington, DC will run them out. But to the point here is they're able to have their convoy. They're even able to kick Jacob Wall out of their convoy, which was kind of funny. And then people like you and me and people, we're allowed to demonize them because what they're doing is stupid. It's just all in the game. This is so dumb. This is what the version of free speech that's being touted here is just like some crybaby shit.
Yeah. But to be clear, they're only able to have their convoy if it is a legal protest.
Well,
like, there are things that they could do that would be illegal.
Well, those are crimes.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
Most crimes are illegal, I believe.
So what has happened is I'm still a liberal, okay? I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-separation of church and state. I'm pro-UBI. I'm pro-death with dignity. I'm pro-universal child care. That's pretty lefty stuff. But I won't be voting left anytime soon because they think all whites are racists and that defunding the police is the best way to deal with African-American crime.
I'm sorry, what?
Hold on. I think that David Silverman is a racist, and I feel like we have evidence of that in a video that we watched on the show one time.
What am I supposed to think? That all whites are racist?
It's, you know how like that fucking Whitney Houston, you know that Whitney Houston song, I'm Every Woman? Well, he's every white man.
Familiar. Like, does he mean in the sense that like we're all a little racist? Because yeah, I would agree with that. But saying specifically white people are racist, I wouldn't agree with that.
Go back 5 seconds. Fuck.
They think all whites are racists and that defunding the police is the best way to deal with African-American crime. It's crazy. And people are dying. And
I'm sorry, wait. Defunding the police is the best way to deal with African-American crime. First of all, when he says defund the police, I doubt he means what I mean when I say defunding the police. And second of all, that's not what defunding the police is for. Defunding the police is for dealing with how African Americans are treated by the police, regardless of whether they are committing a crime.
And I mean, it's not just black folks, right? It's like poor folks more generally are dealt with in a different way by the police than rich folks. Remember that friend of Jordy Pete's who had a fucking standoff at his mansion?
Yeah.
It's because he was rich. And this is stupid because I just want to divert some resources from the police department to the fucking, like, the public health department, particularly the mental health department, people who are good at de-escalating. Send send 2 cops and one social worker instead of 3 cops. This is my version of defund the police. Radical.
Yeah, that's what most of the people that he's talking about mean when they say defund the police. But people on the right, like Infowars, tend to make it seem like when we say defund the police, we mean abolish the police, which is not what we mean at all. We don't want no police. We want non-militarized police.
Possibly better police if that's possible. But again, like that system is like a bit of a fucking funnel where if you're at the top of the funnel and you're a nice person and you're interested in doing good things for the community and not abusing anyone, that funnel will kick you out pretty quick. Because of like the boys club, the sort of the boys club and kind of cult nature of a lot of police departments.
In certain police forces, yeah, but
a lot of them.
Yeah.
Splitting. And so what happened is Atheists for Liberty came to life. The entire atheist movement that I was once a part of, all of it, my former organization and all the others, they all went woke. None of them is doing the job anymore.
Get woke, lose David Silverman. Sounds like a good fucking thing. So it's gonna be like him, Shermer, and like it's gonna be like him, Shermer, and half of the guest list for Jeffrey Epstein's airplane.
As Atheists for Liberty?
Yeah, that's what it's gonna be.
And so Atheists for Liberty was founded by a man named Thomas Sheedy, 23 years old. Okay. He is the atheist version of Charlie Kirk. He's brilliant. And he founded this organization, and I now volunteer for him. And we are the only atheist organization for people right of woke, for atheists right of woke. But we're not an atheist organization here to promote atheism per se. We're atheists, and we're here for...
What does right of woke mean?
Atheists for liberty. We're atheists, and we're here for liberty. Your liberty as well as mine, because that's how liberty works. And
unless you're in a hotel room with him and he doesn't let you leave.
Going on. A really good example of one thing that we're doing is the Vaccine Mandate Equality Project.
Oh, no.
Now, this is a good idea, a good way to show where conservatism and atheism really meet up nicely and neatly, okay? Because people are being fired right now in this country because they're unwilling to take the vaccine. Now, some people who are
as they should be,
the vaccine are religious enough to claim religious exemption.
The only religion where that's even fucking possible is Scientology and Christian Science. There are no religious leaders of any major religion saying that you shouldn't take the vaccine.
I don't think that there should be a religious exemption. I think if your religion says that you can't get a vaccine and your job says you must get a vaccine, then pick one. Your religion or your job.
No, I wasn't saying that the exemption is good. I'm just saying that if somebody wanted to make an argument, it would be like the Scientologists and the Christian Scientists. You know what I'm saying? Those would be the only two organizations where you could even maybe start to make that argument. Yeah, I don't share that. I don't think that should exist. But
there are a lot of people who say, you know, I have a religious opposition to the vaccine, when really they have a personal opposition to the vaccine. They're using their religion as an excuse.
And keep their
which
job.
Is also bullshit.
Notice that phrase, religious enough, not religious enough. Bosses across the country are telling their employees, you're religious enough to get this vaccine exemption and keep your job. You, however, are not religious enough. You're maybe not going to church often enough, or you're an atheist, so you don't get the religious exemption. You're fired. That's religious discrimination writ large. It's not legal, and it's hurting this country, and nobody else is fighting this war. So what we're doing at Atheists for Liberty is we're collecting lawyers and plaintiffs for a giant class action lawsuit against employers that commit religious discrimination. And we are championing a secular vaccine. Now, a secular vaccine exemption. Now, secular vaccine exemptions go alongside religious exemptions all over this country, but not with COVID. They're required. Because you can't say you're religious enough to keep your job and you're not religious enough, you're fired. You have to allow equal rights. That's in the Constitution. It's in the Civil Rights Act. You have to allow them to be equal. And what does that mean? Well, if we succeed, we get secular exemptions along with religious exemptions, we negate vax mandates writ large. They go away because everybody has an exemption, just like the very religious people. That's what liberty is.
So
that's how the Atheists for Liberty.
I think I agree with him that there exists a problem, but we have completely different ideas about the solution.
Well, my take here is that he's like kind of the most likely scenario here is that he's just cynically pivoting to this because this is like the hot button issue in the anti-woke space, right?
Yeah.
That's my take. That's what's the most likely here.
Yeah. But I think so as far as like a vaccine mandate, I think your employer does have an obligation to keep you safe. And I think most people would agree with that, right? Your employer can't put you in a dangerous situation, like if it's not part of your job. Like if your job is to go into dangerous situations, then that's fine. But you shouldn't, your employer shouldn't be able to put you into unnecessarily dangerous situations. And part of that is providing a safe workplace. So if your workplace has a lot of people in close proximity to each other, I think a vaccine mandate for that workplace would be good. It would keep everyone as reasonably safe as possible.
Right, that's generally my position too here. I just don't want to get bogged down in like trying to make that argument against somebody who is, too busy going on Infowars to ever talk to anybody who disagrees with him, like in a live video environment,
Yeah.
Are coming in, and you know what? Everybody's fighting these vax mandates on one level or another. We're here to swoop in. We've got a good plaintiff. We got good plaintiffs. We've got a perfect case. Okay, we're going to have a bigger case, but this is religious discrimination. Like I said, writ large, it's illegal. The vaccine mandate is illegal from a separation of church and state standpoint. From a separation from a religious equality standpoint, vaccine mandates are illegal, and we can stop them. We can.
And the solution would be no more
atheists with capes on,
religious exemption.
Atheists with capes.
Atheists with capes. And say, no, everybody gets equal rights, whether you're very religious, moderately religious, or not religious.
Yeah,
That's
everyone
the law.
gets treated the same. Now, here's a crazy idea. I would push back you on that a little bit, as far as I consider, and I don't know if you've heard this argument before, but I consider atheism a religion, because I feel like you have faith in believing that there's no God. I have faith in believing that there is God. We can't reproduce. We can't see what happened at the beginning.
This annoys me a lot.
Just as much of a religion.
Again, like she's not going to come on our show either. Like he's going to give the probably the correct response to this. I don't want to get bogged down in whether or not atheism is a religion. That's some 2005 shit.
Okay, let's hope he does.
Religion as anything else, because it requires faith. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it certainly is a religious position. Okay, it's an opinion about religion. It's not a religion because we don't have a God and we don't have a holy book, but it is certainly a religious opinion. It is based on the information.
Did they purposefully misspell atheists?
You have. I think the point is not that atheism is a religion. It's that
Hold on. We don't usually do this during the show, but I'm going to get a fucking screenshot of just that. We don't usually take screenshots during the show. Podcast listeners, sometimes we take funny screenshots during our shows. Usually, in fact, almost exclusively during the post game, or like for shows we don't have a podcast for, but they spelled atheist wrong. ATHIESTS.
Atheists for liberty.
And we're all trying to make the best of what we have with the information that we have. The best of the information that I have says there aren't any gods up there, and your information tells you differently. And like I said, we can argue about that someday. Maybe we'll have a few beers and get on into it. But really, we have bigger fish to fry here. We have speech to protect. It's time really for the atheists.
We can't really have the discussion at all if we don't have our freedom of speech. If we can't.
Can you imagine how cowardly it would be if I said to you, you disagree with me, therefore you're racist, so I'm not even going to...
Well, what is the disagreement, actually?
Also, why is it called Atheists for Liberty if atheism is not like something they care about.
I don't know, but I just really like this guy's like, oh, you disagree with me, therefore you're racist. Well, again, it's just like insert generic disagreement about pineapple on pizza here, right?
Yeah, if we agree about the inherent quality of different races of people, you're probably a racist then.
Right. It's like, what is I love this. They pull the meat. The disagreement like used to be like a pineapple or like a cantaloupe. But then they take and they're like, here's a balloon, here's the disagreement, and all the only thing the balloon is the surface, and there's nothing inside of it. So it's like, oh, you disagree with me, therefore you're racist. It's like, well, there's nothing inside of what you're saying. There's nothing there. It's like a mile wide and an inch deep, you know?
Points. How weak would I be in that position? And this is leftism. This is my former leftism. They do that. They say, if you disagree with me, you're just a racist. You're just bad. All whites are racists. All cops are bastards. If you disagree, you're this phobe or that. And that's not the way to have an argument. That's not the way to have. That's not humanism. Okay. That's just demonizing the other. And that's the exact opposite of humanism. I'm an atheist, but I'm also a humanist, and I believe that we should be fighting for good, all of us. I also believe that you can be a religious humanist, and you can be a conservative humanist or a libertarian humanist. And I think we should all try to, reduce suffering, increase enjoyment in life for everybody. And I think you do too. We just take a different tack. And that means that we're all good people.
How open-minded of you, Dave. How very open-minded of you. It's like a lost art. Well, we want to talk more with Dave, and actually we're going to open up the phone lines for some thoughts from you. And remember, we're all being pleasant and compassionate and listening to each other. So we'll take some phone calls from you later this hour. Welcome to the War Room. Christy Lee guest hosting. And, it's called War Room. And you'd think that there would be a battle going on right now because you have a devout...
Oh, shit. It's 420 at the Infowars studio.
Talking to an atheist. You'd expect
Welcome if you got them.
Fighting it out, duking it out, calling each other names. But that's not happening. We're having a conversation and trying to understand each other. And also... here's a shocker, find the common ground that we have, which is freedom and liberty and freedom to speak freely.
What's the command for Nightbot to tell you to get high?
And sorry about this, Dave. You're just going to have to listen to it. It's from Romans 12:18. If it is
rips.
possible,
Okay.
as much as depends on you, live peaceably with all men.
I was
Now,
close.
I understand that you think that's from a fairy tale book, but the point remains that we should live peaceably, and I understand that would be a tenet of humanism, which is what you had mentioned. So I'm reminding that because I am going to open up the phone lines. The phone number is 1-877-789-2539.
Oh, no. I wish I could have watched live. I would have called.
Remember, live peaceably with all men. Dave Silverman, so you have been an activist atheist. Describe to me what that means.
Well, I've been an atheist activist since 1996, I believe. Spreading, taking on issues, fighting for the cause. I fought against the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. I fought against I fought for, or I should say, against a lot of school choice bills. I fought pro-choice. It's taking atheism to the activism level. And I was, like I said, I was a volunteer for the organization for 14 years before I ran it for another 9. It's been a great honor in my life to be able to be an activist. And I've always called myself an activist for good, not just an activist for atheism. I'm trying to promote goodness here, which I think we all should be doing. And I think that atheist activism has certainly changed dramatically in the last 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years. You said earlier that atheism was a religion, and I said no because it doesn't have a God. Well, I'm going to contradict myself now because the left wokeism doesn't have a God, but it's certainly...
Fuck that shit, it's me. I'm the woke God.
So now no God and you can have a religion. Okay, then why is atheism not a religion, Mr. Atheist Pants?
Looks a lot like a religion.
That's his
It has this
Twitter handle, right?
Yep. Rules including original sin being white. These many mantras, and of course the demonization of the other, which is common in religion writ large. Not picking on one religion versus another, but this wokeism that we see on the left is where the atheism movement now lives. Mm-hmm. So they're atheists, but they're repeating mantras and they're demonizing.
I don't know about that, because a lot of the more popular people from the time when I was a new atheist are sort of in Dave's camp in one way or another. Not your average non-believer. Your average non-believer probably doesn't fucking know about this because they're not on Twitter, right? Like the average person probably is not involved in this in any way. So like they're not on Twitter, but like Sam Harris, Michael Shermer, especially Richard Dawkins, to the extent that James Lindsay was ever popular in the new atheist thing, James Lindsay, like Lawrence Krauss, like I can't think of any of them that didn't go this way, the woke or canceling me or what the fuck ever. The only one, PZ Myers didn't do it and Rebecca Watson didn't do it. And the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe people didn't go that direction either.
Yeah. Yeah, out of all of them, I would say the majority of the big hitter atheists from the early internet atheist days moved toward the right.
Or went with this...
not in their political views, but just in their alignment of like on this one issue on like social justice.
Right. The culture war, they felt like the culture war was coming for them even though it wasn't, and so they decided to line up on the side that never criticized positions they hold, or maybe positions they never thought very deeply about because of their privilege, you know?
Yeah.
Others, and they're doing things not like religious people do, but like the religious people that we used to make fun of did. You know, the bad religious folks, those folks, they're doing those things. They're throwing out people out of their groups because they disagree. Mm-hmm. We used to make fun.
What is this image that they're showing?
To really make fun of
Jesus breaking the chains. White Jesus breaking the chains.
People who were gay or whatever. And
all right, podcast listeners, under this, since we talked over what he said anyway, there's this awful image of Jesus breaking the chains off of, I don't know, some guy who does videos, like live videos from his phone in his truck.
Look at how bad they are. They're throwing out their people. They have no respect for diversity. And this is where the atheist movement lives now. And so what is atheist activism now? Like I said, there's one organization.
They're now showing an image that says the left has become a totalitarian cult.
And what are we doing? We're just promoting,
which is pretty ironic.
Atheists, okay? It used to be like we were, like when I first went to CPAC, it was about making sure the conservatives knew that atheists were there and atheists were good and we could be conservative too. That's an accomplished task. Okay, if you go to CPAC now, Atheists for Liberty has a table. Nobody is saying, "Hey, you atheists shouldn't be here." We're an accepting part.
I want to see production. I took a picture when I was at CPAC. Can you find it? I put it in.
But if you go to something like Netroots Nation or whatever, like a liberal convention or whatever, and there's a table that's like, you know, Catholics for social justice, nobody's going to run up to them either and be like, "You shouldn't be here."
And I would argue that no one has ever.
That's probably there was probably some dicky atheist at one of those that did some shit like with some religious booth. There has to have been, you know.
Well, I don't mean no one has ever. I just mean that hasn't changed. Right. You know, their reaction, aside from like a few people, their reaction is probably the same and has been for years or forever.
Right, but like I said, like what's kind of embedded in what they're saying is that they would suggest that in a liberal or leftist place that somebody would run up to a religious group's table and like start yelling at them for being there or whatever and try to exclude them. And I think that's highly unlikely. Even though, sure,
I think he was saying too that like CPAC used to be very unwelcoming to atheists.
Maybe he should have been more clear about. He should have been more clear about what he was saying, I think.
And if CPAC has changed and now they're welcoming to atheists, then good on them. I still don't like them.
In there, it was the atheist table. I just found it funny that the table that you were next to, it said concerned Methodists. I don't know if you guys can find that picture.
yeah.
I put it in the folder. It was just funny to see concerned Methodists right next to Atheists for Liberty. It was just a funny depiction. But everyone treated you with respect and I mean, how are you received there?
Conservatism has come a long way, okay? In as far as accepting atheists. When I first started back in 2014, it was difficult, okay? I got a lot of resistance. We found a lot of atheists, which is why I came back, but there was a lot of distaste for atheist presence there. That is I would say 97% gone, okay? The Atheists for Liberty booth was a welcome booth at CPAC. There was no harassment. There was no vandalism. There was no theft. There was no nothing. We were just there next to the
concerned Methodists.
Concerned Methodists, and the guy at the Concerned Methodist group was a really nice guy.
Good.
And last year we were next to the Trump lady with the Trump everywhere, Trump everywhere, Trump everywhere, and one person went up to her and said, "Hey, you're sitting next to those atheists. What do you think about that?" And she said to them, "I'm not a Christian either." and so it's great that we have this new world, this new conservatism, because we have a new liberalism. I think it's wonderful.
I wonder if she was Muslim.
Liberal-minded people like
probably not.
can no longer deal with the left because of racism.
It is crazy. I do want to hear a little bit more about your background. Have you always been an atheist? Did you grow up in an atheist home?
I was raised as a conservative Jew. My parents were originally going to name me Jew, but they decided it wasn't Jewish sounding enough, so they called me David Silverman instead.
But their last name was already Silverman.
I was raised reform.
Man, what a fail of a joke.
She gave him a pity laugh, though.
I think she thought it was funny. I just thought that was not a joke.
Jew. I've been an atheist since I was 6 years old. I remember the moment that I stopped believing in God when I was 6 years old. I stopped believing in God, the Easter Bunny, and the Tooth Fairy, and Santa Claus all in one shot.
All at the same time.
Haven't believed since then. Yep, haven't believed since then. Got bar mitzvahed as an atheist. Got confirmed as an atheist. Went to Brandeis as an atheist, and it's been an interesting. It's been an interesting ride because I've been exposed
Every
to
time they
religion
put
a
up the
lot.
misspelled Atheists for Liberty banner, it makes me chuckle.
Oh, don't worry. The title of this fucking podcast on the fucking on Stitcher and stuff is definitely going to misspell atheists. Don't worry about it.
A lot. And the atheism doesn't seem to go anywhere. I just keep winning when I debate it. And that's why I'm an atheist, because I've never seen anything anywhere ever that convinces me of anything supernatural in existence, or even hints at it, frankly. So that's why I'm an atheist. And I, got married young, was married for a while, and then became an activist when I was 30. And that's when I really started to enjoy, being an atheist, because I started to actually create change. And that change was in the change for tolerance for atheists more than anything else, and the acceptance of the normalization of atheism. That was my big thing, and that was great. I think we did it, but...
Well, then why are none of you normal?
Now he's fighting against tolerance for others.
In the name of tolerance for his intolerance.
Yeah.
All because he just wouldn't let a lady leave a hotel room when she wanted to.
Yeah.
That's the fucking beginning of this story arc, let me tell you.
I mean, we have a brand new cause to fight for, because now we have to fight as atheists for the Enlightenment values that allowed us to have the discussions in the first place. I mean, can I imagine? Yes, I can. Going back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when atheism wasn't accepted, when I was really shouting a minority point of view, an hated point of view. I mean, what would it have been like if somebody had frozen my bank account?
Yeah.
What would it have been like if somebody had just, done something to my life because I was strongly opposed to President George W. Bush when he was president. What if President Bush had messed with my life?
More with Dave Silverman after the break.
Two of our best sellers.
Is that happening to anyone?
In Canada, it did. Some people got their accounts frozen in the trucker convoy.
Infowars. I need funds to run.
Not for protesting though. For like, weren't they blocking the streets?
Yes, but that was their form of protest. I think. Again, I don't want to get bogged down in the Canada trucker protest here. This guy's going to say some dumb shit about fucking race and avoid the fact that he didn't let that lady leave the hotel room, and I'm here for that.
Out of turn, not used to all of this, but we are going to be taking some phone calls for Dave Silverman. He is a 25-year atheist activist, victim of cancel culture, former woke leftist, and now libertarian. Now, you say you're a victim of cancel culture. I don't think you expanded on that. Can you tell me what you mean?
Yeah, well, let's just say that I had some experiences with some ladies at my old job.
That's a way to say it.
Oh, what did he say?
What you mean?
Yeah, well, let's just say that I had some experiences with some ladies at my old job, and they lied about them. And there was no, you've heard the stories. Well, she misunderstood or he misunderstood. They crossed wires. That's not what happened. Two women completely lied about their experience with me. They made stuff up that was grotesquely wrong. And I was fired immediately with no due process. They did not even take the moment to say, Dave, did you do it? They took the moment to say, okay, we have a process that requires due process. We're going to take a vote and ignore that process so that we can fire Dave without due process. And so basically what happened was, I mean, I've never been fully woke, right? I was never really woke enough. I've always been a free speech person, and I've always been a very strong proponent for ex-Muslims, which I don't know if you know this, the woke don't like ex-Muslims.
That's not true. We don't like Ayaan Hirsi Ali. It's not that we don't like people who are no longer Muslim. That's fucking stupid. We don't like Ayaan Hirsi Ali because she says all kinds of fucking Islamophobic shit.
I have no problem with ex-Muslims.
Okay. But they're a really important point of the atheist movement. And I made, I was a big firebrand. I was the top of the mountain. I was the king of the hill. So everybody wanted to take me down, and they did. And they did using cancel culture and just canceled me.
And you see cancel culture as more of a wokest leftist issue, right?
Oh, absolutely. I view cancel culture as taking an accusation as fact, abhorring the idea that the accuser might be lying, abhorring the idea of due process, and then just getting rid of the victim, saying you should have done something differently or you need to be responsible for your actions while not being responsible for their own due process. I can't believe.
I just don't know.
Keep in mind, he's not talking about a court.
Yeah,
he's talking about getting fired from his job, which, as far as I know, isn't legally required to have due process.
Yeah, what was American Atheists supposed to do? Like, two or more women said one thing and he said another, and so they fired him because they just didn't want that smoke. Like, that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Believe that the ACLU has gone woke. I can't believe
it's insane.
It is insane. I mean, before when I was off camera, you were talking about how crazy things are. It's crazy out there, and that's why I'm here. That's why all those things that I used to fight for, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that stuff, it's not as important as free speech.
Yeah. Well, I super appreciate this conversation and the unification and your willingness to be open-minded enough to someone that you saw as an enemy before. You're saying, let's unite. We're both in this freedom and liberty thing. But I do want to say, as far as my impression of atheism atheism and atheists before. The main thing that, well, beyond the fact that it's my heart's desire that, you're saved, but beyond that, my main issue is, this rewriting. I always see atheist groups saying freedom from religion when the actual writing says freedom of religion. And now you seem like a very tolerant person, but in other circumstances, it's like if there was prayer in school that was just like organized by students, or if something said under God, or like you said, Merry Christmas, like where's the tolerance in just like live and let live? Like,
no, the students can have a prayer group. They can organize and pray out in front of the flag or whatever the fuck they want to do. The school just can't fucking organize it themselves. That's it. It's fine. If they want to spend their free time praying, they can spend their free time praying.
One of those things was not like the other. It's like if someone asks, do you have a problem with students in school praying or being shot in the head? Yes. I don't know how to answer that. You asked me two things there.
This is dumb. She's misrepresenting it, and he's not going to push back on it either.
Like, there's a difference between mandating prayer for all students and like letting students pray or letting a coach pray if the students are cool with that. You want to speak?
Whoa, hold on. If the coach is involved, that's a problem.
Right, because the coach is a school employee. She just stuck that in right at the end, by the way. Did you notice that?
Yeah. That's where it becomes a problem. If the students want to do it, fine. But if the coach is involved, not fine.
If the students are cool with that is a big thing, and peer pressure is a big push. And no, I would fight against you on that. There shouldn't be any prayer in the schools. If a student wants to pray in a school, they can pray to themselves in a school. There's absolutely nothing stopping them from doing that. There is absolutely no reason that any God would require a student to pray in a group versus individually. One prayer is not...
Does it say freedom of religion or freedom from religion? Because the actual words say freedom of religion.
It doesn't say either, you idiot. They're stupid. It says neither. It says Congress shall enact no law respecting the establishment of a religion, and then paraphrased, there should be no religious test to hold office in the United States. So it says neither, actually.
Yeah, it says neither.
just to be super clear here.
But those two would mean the same thing. If you have freedom of religion, that implies that you also have freedom from religion. You can be non-religious.
Right. Like if you're able to buy whatever fruits and vegetables you want at the store, you're also free to do the carnivore diet where you don't eat fruits and vegetables. That's how the store works. And that's how freedom of... Yeah, of course. You have the freedom to just know. Like the answer might be no, and you have that freedom too. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So she's like, even if she were right, she'd still be wrong.
Freedom from,
right.
It doesn't say freedom from.
Freedom from is a part of freedom of. Okay? Freedom from is a part of freedom of religion. That's why that's important, because you can have freedom from religion. That's a right because it's a part of freedom of religion. You can be an atheist. You can raise your children as atheists. That's part of freedom of religion, that from part. And so if you send your kids to public school and, it's not about one kid praying because he wants to, it's about, okay, the coach is now saying, okay, everybody, all the cool kids gather together and pray. That's peer pressure. That's not cool. I wouldn't support that. That's a bad thing. And you wouldn't support that if we were in a Muslim school and your kid was the only Christian and all the Muslims got together.
I'm going to disagree with you there because kids are peer pressured to do all kinds of things that Christians wouldn't agree with, and they just have to deal with it. But
that's different than the fucking coach doing it.
I thought she was going to disagree about being in the Muslim school. I thought she was going to say, no, I'd want my kid to pray to Allah in a Muslim school. I'd be like, wow, that's pretty woke.
Like, damn, this lady's a contortionist.
If there's a group of students that want to come together and people feel like they're peer pressuring prayers to join in, we'll deal with it. Like either way, it goes both ways. But I do want to get to phone calls. That's just, I guess one source will agree.
It does go both ways. If there's going to be a group of students that pray, there's got to be a group of students there's got to be allowed a group of students that are atheists. if it's equal.
I don't think anyone has disagreed with that. I just,
So they just went ahead and said nothing. And you know what? Because they're about to take calls, here's a good time for me to fucking end the podcast and chill for the live show and the Patreon. I hope that's okay with everybody. Check this out. We're going to do the phone calls during the post game. Everybody, thanks for hanging out during the podcast. Thanks for understanding that we're not talking to the chat during the podcast, because that would be weird for the people on the podcast. This show is live on Twitch every fucking Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. You can catch us live. You can also catch the replay at twitch.tv/Echoplex Media if that time doesn't work for you, but it's much more fun to listen live. If you'd like an MP3 of the whole thing so you can just listen to it on your long ass commute, or if you're like in super good shape and you jog for 5 hours a day, you go to patreon.com/Echoplex, $5 a month. You can get that. Plus you'll be able to support this project. And, also go to echoplexmedia.com/shots and you can get the screenshot that I'm taking right now of David Silverman's face. And you can find this podcast wherever you find podcasts. Make sure you subscribe to it and make sure you search for Echoplex Media on your pod catcher of choice. You can find our other shows. Live listeners, don't go nowhere because there's no reason to go nowhere. We're going to play Boomers. I'm going to change the color of the lights in here and grab myself a cocktail, and we're going to go on into the post game where people are going to call David Silverman, and we're going to see if maybe there's some anti-Semitism in the audience of Infowars, or if they're just going to call in and like stroke his ego. Thanks for joining me this week, Hunter. I'll see you on the other side.
All right.